and welcome back to my channel. My name is Chamaka Ohadira and you're welcome back on my channel. If you're listening to me on my pod, hi. This is Getting It Done with Chamaka. I hope you're tuned down and let's get ready to go. So today I'm smiling, but what I want to talk about is not something I should really smile about, if that makes sense. Is I'm literally having, for real, I'm literally having that moment where I need to get it off. I've tried to write. My laptop is literally in front of me. Let me show you for those that too. So this is my laptop. I'm close from work. I'm in my friend's unit and I'm just chilling. So normally I will write while I watch Grey's Anatomy. Really, I just have a lot to say and nobody should judge me. So I'm going to confess now before I finally put up the post on my blog. So about this Grey's Anatomy, for a while, right, a lot of people spoke about Grey's Anatomy like so much. It's a medical movie, like it was just rampant at a time. I didn't really see it as a thing, you know. But then towards the end of my undergrad, it started again. But then I knew that if I was going to see this movie, plus they said that it had, at that time, you already had a lot of seasons. And I'm like, I'm not about to start one season and then waiting for that seasonal moment. Right now, I'm sure everyone is literally waiting for Blood and Water, season 3, and this waiting time. In fact, I thought they were not even going to put finally bring out season 2 last year. The whole thing just happened out of the blues, and like flashlights, it came on and then it went off. So I didn't want that. Well, as at then, I didn't want that kind of thing. So I just kind of fashion the whole thing and I was just minding my business. TikTok came, people started posting Grey's Anatomy favorite parts, specific parts and all that. I know one of the scenes that I saw that was like, I think it's about time I actually see this movie. It was when Christina and Meredith, Christina was having a moment and Meredith and Derek were literally in her room and she needed to talk to her person, and she didn't even care if Meredith's boyfriend was there. She just wanted to talk to her person. And you know, the understanding with Derek leaving and then them having their girls' time and everything, it was really beautiful. And so many other funny parts like that I saw on TikTok. I was like, I think it's really time that I get to watch this Grey's Anatomy thing. So how do I get to watch it? Apparently I didn't even have data then to start looking for it and start streaming, downloading, whatever. So something moves me. I take up my phone. I'm like, okay, I want to see Grey's Anatomy. I was literally begging, like, if anyone knows where I can get Grey's Anatomy, like, I'm really available to get it. You know, it was one of those posts that you just make, and it's not like you're not being hopeful. It's just one of those that you do, and you're like, let's see what's going to happen. And it happened. My classmates from undergrad messaged me that she actually has up to 17 seasons. I'm like, hello? Are you kidding me? Up to 17? I'm like, But then she wasn't in Abuja at that time. She's like, when she comes in, she was going to let me know, and then I'm going to get the movie. That happened. She came, when she came, she literally left where she was staying all the way to town so I can get it. It was one sacrifice I was really grateful for. I got Grey's Anatomy plus other movies. Now, I have seen season 1 to 17 the first time. Yes, I've seen season 1 to 17. Like, the way it happened, like, it was one of the basic reasons why I started bringing my laptop to work. I normally wouldn't. If I do, it's because I want to type on my laptop, but because of my working condition, it's kind of difficult to type on my laptop. So I did more of my typing on my phone, and then when I go home, I will do the whole transfers to my Gmail and then that whole process. So, but because of Grey's Anatomy, I started bringing in my laptop. So for everything I was doing, I was at least seeing one episode. Sometimes I would see 2 episodes, like the whole, like I was so engrossed for 5 months now. Yes, I think I got it in the ending of November. This is okay. It's not up to 5 months, but for straight 3 months. I beat October. I can't even remember specifically, but I think it should be up to 3 months. Yeah, because I know I finished it under 1.5 months, I think. Yes. So the more episodes I got to see, the more intriguing the whole process was for me. I'm like, Kilo Day, what is going on? I need to continue this movie. What is this? So that was how it happened for me. I kept going. Eventually I finished it. Like, you finish something, right? And you need to move on, right? I didn't move on. For months, I've not logged into Netflix. In fact, the time I tried to log into Netflix, it was like a foreign land for me. I didn't find anything intriguing to watch. I had to go back to my grades and I started all over again. I wanted to relive the whole first moment, how they grew up and everything. Well, as I'm talking to you now, I'm in season 12. Yeah, I'm still watching it every day. Every day. Another day, I'll talk about Grey's Anatomy in a different way, but they really tried. Although I have my takes on how some people like left, but they really tried. But I'm just really hoping that when I finish it this time, I can start seeing other movies. I mean, I took a whole lot of other movies from my classmates after Grey's Anatomy, so I need to see those other movies. Like, I've been wanting to watch Handmaid's Tale, and she had a couple of seasons and I took them. I started and then I stopped, but immediately I started Grey's Anatomy, I got hooked, and since then that has not changed. But anyways, so this is how it happens. This is how it goes down on my pod. There's always a gist, something to pick. And when I'm talking, I'm just flowing. Now I'm looking at my screen and I'm looking at my recorder. 7 minutes gone. Now I don't know how long the remaining part's gonna be, but that's the thing. That's why it's a podcast, okay? So you have the recording part and then you have the video. So anyone that has the time can go ahead and listen or watch, okay? So something happened today. I work in the hospital. For anyone that's streaming or seeing on YouTube, I work in the hospital. Been working there for a year plus now. It's been quite amazing. A whole lot of things that I want to dish out about my experience in the hospital. I haven't even done a quarter of it, but yeah, like I said, I'm having that moment of really trying to get it off, like, as soon as I can. Today wasn't one of those days that is so fun and you're just really excited kind of thing. The whole day started very shaky, but that's not even the main thing. I noticed a lady that was carrying a child. The girl is beautiful. The baby girl is so beautiful. Now, it was strange that the baby didn't look like the woman carrying her, and I noticed the lady wasn't breastfeeding either, and there was this other lady beside her. The whole thing was kind of funny, but I didn't pay attention because I tried to finish one of the blogs I was writing while I was watching Grey's Anatomy, obviously. But I started taking notes unconsciously until I finally settled in to see what was going on. So another thing was when a woman was on the phone close to me. She was speaking Igbo, but basically from the way she described the situation, I actually thought it was like a toddler, not an infant. So she was saying how the baby has been vomiting and stooling continuously, body weakness and all that, and they've done a couple of tests, full blood count, so many other things. But what really got me was how she said that one of the tests is blood culture, which takes about 10 days before the results will be ready. I've never heard that before. So what if it's like an emergency case and the blood work like is needed at that particular time? What's going to happen? So she was really worked up. She was really like she was in distress. And I figured that these people have actually been here since the morning, to the extent that one of the children's doctor already like still knew that they were around. So I started like putting the whole thing together. It was when the lady on the phone was now looking. She was like, where is the child and the maid? I was like, okay. And then I look across and then I see the person she was referring to. Behold, it was this beautiful baby and this woman that I thought was her mom. Apparently it was not the mom. First of all, the baby was too small to be feeding from a feeding bottle, actually. So I was now trying to paint the whole thing together. And I don't even know where the thought came from. But instantly I was like, you hear about cases of children that were abandoned by their mothers after giving birth to them. Now it's not like we're judging them or anything. We don't know what the situation was. We don't know what happened. We obviously we don't know what brought that mother to that point to have made that decision. I mean, it's heartbreaking that you read news or even from like a neighbor or something and a child was dumped. Like it's just heartbreaking. Okay, it's just really heartbreaking. And then I thought, nobody actually thinks about how a motherless baby or a baby who like, yeah, a motherless baby, the mom could be dead or the mom could have dropped the child for adoption or literally just abandoned the child. Nobody actually thinks about how that child feeds and how the child eventually develops. The way it came to my mind, it was like, nobody thinks about that. I mean, a child that is born deserves the mother's breast milk. The benefits of breast milk is just amazing. That it's just amazing, and words cannot even describe how important a new child needs that supplement, natural supplement from the root, from the mother. It just really made me to appreciate, like, it's not like I do not appreciate it, but it just made me to appreciate breastfeeding more, because this baby wasn't looking big. The baby was just weak. I know I asked the lady that was carrying her, I was like, how many months is the child? And she's like, 4 months. Now my colleague is a new mom. Her baby is currently 5 months, but by next week the baby will be 6 months. Now I remember when my colleague's baby was 4 months. Her baby was, mind you, before my colleague gave birth, she was like, she was not going to feed her baby. Like, she was not going to feed her baby exclusively for 6 months. That she was just doing that, no, kind of, I want to get myself back kind of thing. But then I'm really grateful that my friend in the hospital, like the unit I'm in, he's a counselor, and he's like, do not try that. Trying to explain to her the benefits of a child breastfeeding directly, and going as long as feeding that child up to 2 years. Now he says that his wife breastfed all his children 2 years. Now this is something mothers hear and they're like, no, who is doing that one? But then when you hear him talk about how important breastfeeding children is, you really do not want to feed your child exclusively plus jara, because it's not even about just breastfeeding, it's about the connection with the child and everything. And now you think about a motherless baby struggling, You know, babies are born and you're told don't give baby water, don't give baby processed milk, like so many things. Guys, this baby is already on milk. I think one of the parts that broke my heart was when I saw the woman try to give her water. That's the nanny. 4 months old baby. I was really moved. I was at the point of crying, but my office is literally outside. So imagine me trying to, and then the women looking at me. It was just a painful sight. And the baby kept crying, like looking at the baby is weak. No, I'm not adding any words there. The baby is weak. The baby needs help. And if I may say, like, the nannies are not actually treating the baby right. And I think that was another thing that got to me. I mean, she was feeding the baby, and the baby, I don't know how it happened, if the milk came out through her nose, or I don't know how it happened. But when I finally took my eyes to what was going on, you know, the way she was drying the baby's nose wasn't in a way that if it was your child you would do that. It was just painful. It was really painful. Like, yes, it's not your child, but don't treat that child like that. No, you don't do it. Like, if you want to, like, and then the woman came, the nanny came to ask my colleague, like trying to make inquiries. My colleague came and I was sharing with her, I was feeling, and then the lady came to her and was trying to make inquiries about getting a birth certificate. And I'm like, when I heard them conversing, I was like, this woman actually has her own child. And look at the way she was cleaning that baby's nose. The baby was in pain and she kept pressing the tiny. It was just painful, and believe me, as I'm saying it, I'm kind of getting relief because it has just been in my mind, and I'm like, no, I needed to get that out. Now look at the other side. You know, they say life is not balanced. Life, you know, balanced. Rah. A lady came today for registration. She came with 2 girls. The first time I saw her, she came with a boy. She was pregnant when I saw her, and she's still pregnant. I'm guessing she's almost due. When we're registering the boy, she's like, that boy is not her biological child, but the boy is using her, like, her husband's name, her name, like, she's literally the mom now. If she didn't tell me, I wouldn't have known that she wasn't the mother of the boy. Because yes, the boy is a strong-willed child, so the boy is everywhere around the immunization center, and she will always call his name and be like, come back here, don't go far, that kind of a thing. And today she comes with 2 girls, a smaller one and she said that one was 11, then I don't know how old the smaller one is. And then she came like she wants to register her girl. Mostly when women come and they say they want to register their girl, you just know it's their nanny that they just brought from the village. I'm like, oh, okay, who is she to you? She says it's her daughter. I was like, that she's 16 years old. And I'm looking at the woman, I'm like, you look like somebody that has a 16-year-old already. And then she says the child was born 2006. The child is 15 now, but the child will be 16 this year. And she like feels me, she's like, do you remember the boy I came to register before? I was like, yes. She's like, okay, yes, that this girl now is his sister, is his senior sister, that the mom gave birth to her when she was pretty young, and then in the process of giving birth to the boy, the woman died. So after that happened, her husband took over the children as his own, and they were married as at that time. Like you just needed to see the communication, you know. She's a young woman, she's not old. Even looking at her first child, she's very young to have such a child. But you know, some people they have really good bodies, they might be older but they don't look it at all. I'm like, so with the one that you're carrying, when you give birth as like 5 kids, she's like, yes. I'm like, you're doing well. And she just smiled. And you could just see the whole communication and everything, and I'm like, whoa. Here I am being sad with what I'm seeing before me, and I'm seeing a woman who has 4 children presently under her custody. 2 are not her kids, 2 are her kids, 1 is on the way, and they are her children. They are bearing her name, they are bearing her husband's name. When you're doing registration, when it comes to birth order, it means the child that you're registering, is it the first child, second child, birth order? So I'm like, so in your situation now, what's the birth order? And she said number 4. I was like, but when you look at it, she's the eldest. She's 15. Your other child is 11. And then she said the smaller girl was older than the boy that I saw before, but that boy looks taller than the girl. She's like, oh really? I was like, yes. So looking at the way it is, she's like, yeah, put it as the first. It was a moment. I was like, okay. And I wrote first. A child that she didn't give birth to is standing as her first child. And when this one is born, it's going to be the 5th. And at that moment, I just really wanted to see the girl, the 15-year-old girl. I wanted to see the communication between two of them, but she said she was looking after the boy at home. So life just presents you with different things, and you're just in that bubble. You're thinking, you're trying to make sense out of the whole thing, and sometimes you can, other times you are properly lost. So I'm sure I'm going to see that baby tomorrow, and I just really hope that the test results are not so scary. The baby gets to get her medications, and I just hope that whatever happens, the baby grows up to be a very wonderful child. And I just hope she falls into the hands of people who will love her as her nannies and her caretakers. And because I heard something with the caretakers talking about the woman, I'm guessing the child was adopted or picked, I don't know, but eventually the woman has to adopt the child, even if she picked the baby from wherever it is the birth mom dropped her. But then it just take a moment to think. You enjoyed breast milk, some people didn't. But those ones that didn't enjoy, it didn't define their ability or what they can do, what they cannot do, the extent they can reach, their extremes. They're still normal human beings like you. It's just that the ones that were breastfed, they just had privileges which they enjoyed. I know when you see such babies, you can actually give them your breast milk, but I was just really concerned with the water, because the baby could be reacting to something and they don't know yet. Thinking about how that blood culture is going to take that long before it will be ready. No, it's just amazing. But yeah, I'm just having my moment and I can't help myself. But yeah, I just literally just got that off. So if you're listening to me, whether it's your child, whether it's not your child, treat everyone equally. If you are not ready to take up that responsibility, don't force yourself into it. You're going to bite yourself and you end up not training or treating that child as the child deserves. Whether you want to have a child but you're not ready, take your time. But if eventually you're in a position where you didn't plan for it but it happened, you just need to pray to God to give you a heart and strength to take up the responsibility and do your best, because it's just your best that you're going to do. And for any mothers listening to me or watching me, breastfeeding your child is beautiful. Maybe I'm going to invite Mr. Lawrence, for those that don't know him yet, to come and refresh the importance of breast milk and breastfeeding. Is very, very important, and I think everyone needs to be reminded of the benefits. If you can feed your child, please do that. And for people that have these tough decisions about what to do with their babies, especially when they don't plan for them, I just hope that however that baby ends up, the baby survives, because it's not easy for them. It's not easy. Okay, I think I'm getting too emotional with the whole thing, but you get what I mean anyway. So yeah, so I just had my moment of getting it off with me, and I just thought I should just say that we just really don't give it a thought how motherless children survive. But then God is God. They survive, they become great people. I wanted to say something, but I'm not going to say it. But yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this one. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe, like, and share. Follow my podcast, the link will be in the description box. Follow my YouTube channel, visit my blog, support me, okay? Alright? So until the next time, it's a bye from me now. Adios. Cheers.